Good afternoon. My name is Tom Riom, and I'm chairman of the Finance and Property Committee of Wisconsin Rapids. We're meeting in the council chambers at City Hall in Wisconsin Rapids. Today is Tuesday, September 7th, 2021, and it's 4:30 p.m. Actually, about 4:35 p.m. now. We have other members of city staff and others here present if they'd like to introduce themselves.
Jake Catnaw, Alderman.
This way. Dean Benjamin, Alderman.
Tyler Mickelson, IT.
Kyle Kearns, Director of Community Development.
Jennifer Gossick, City Clerk.
Tim DeSorsi, Finance.
Jay Bemke, Committee Member. Shane Blazer, Mayor.
Thank you. And with that, I'll go on to item 1, which is to call the meeting to order, which I'll do. So then we'll go to item 2. Consider for approval a temporary retail Class B fermented malt beverages license for Heart of Wisconsin Chamber of Commerce, 1120 Lincoln Street, for the premises as outlined on the map provided for the 21st Annual Downtown Grand Affair to be held on Sunday, September 12, 2021, from 10 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. Any questions on that by anybody or anything? It's been what's been done in the past. I think last year was virtual, I think, if I remember right. But maybe not. Anyway,
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
motion is second to approve the Grand Affair to do again. That's this coming Sunday. Committee, if there's no further questions, committee will vote. All those in favor respond by aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, ayes have it. Item number 3, consider for approval a temporary retail Class B fermented malt beverages license for Central Wisconsin Cultural Center, 2651 8th Street South, for gallery opening to be held on Thursday, September 23rd, 2021, from 5:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. Is there anybody here, anybody, new information or anything? Okay, any questions, committee, or comments? I guess I'd entertain a motion then.
I'll move to approve.
A motion is second to approve the request. If there's no further questions or anything, we'll vote committee. All those in favor respond by aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, ayes have it. Item 4, consider for approval a temporary retail Class B fermented malt beverages and Class B wine license for Central Wisconsin Cultural Center, 2651 8th Street South, for an Art on Tap event to be held on Saturday, October 2nd, 2021, from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Any questions or anything by anybody? Hearing none,
Second.
motion is second to approve. If there's no further questions, committee will vote. All those in favor respond by aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, ayes have it. Item 5, consider for approval a temporary retail Class B fermented malt beverages and Class B wine license for Assumption Catholic Schools Incorporated, 445 Chestnut Street, for a royal event to be held on Sunday, October 3rd, 2021, from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. I think this is what's been done in the past, isn't it? Okay.
I'll move to approve.
Second. A motion is second to approve the royal event. If no further questions, committee will vote. All in favor respond by aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, ayes have it. Item 6, consider a quote for a Fortinet Enterprise Firewall with 5 years of replacement and support with setup and configuration performed by RMM Solutions. Tyler, I guess this is for you.
Yeah, so
You're on
guys,
floor.
the firewall is the security apparatus between us, our internal servers, and the outside world. Right now, ours is coming up end of life before the end of the year, so it's one of those things that we kind of have to do. Really, the most of the cost is the next day replacement and the 5 years of support, and that just keeps the firewall up to date with security patches just about every day. That's that's about it. Any questions or?
Jake?
Could you give us a little bit, just layman's terms of what we're on, what we're moving to, and the benefits of that?
So currently, we're on a Cisco device. Its end of life is in October or November, if I'm mistaken, one of the 2 months, which means it will no longer receive any security updates. So if a new type of breach comes along, our firewall won't be receiving updates to that to basically patch that breach, so outside traffic can get in. What we would be going to is, a similar firewall for our size. Really, it's just kind of a cutover of that. And then, yeah, that's basically it. So, does that answer your question?
Yeah,
Okay.
and then I just would ask, what are the reoccurring costs, and did we receive quotes from others?
Recurring cost is factored in, so that's the 5 years of licensing, so it's for 5 years. After the 5 years, I would probably look to get another device, because at that point, it'll be close to being aged out. If it's not, then we would be going to probably a 3-year license at that point. I can't really give you pricing because I don't know that information until we get there, but it'd be similar to the 5-year pricing that we have currently. Which in the quote, I can pull that up if you'd like.
No, I seen the quote. Is
Okay.
it, just the final thing, was there other quotes received, or?
I did some research on other firewalls, on different vendors. I didn't get a formal quote, but a lot of the appliances that I did look at ran around the same cost without the services performed by RMM. So, there wasn't any substantial cost savings or benefit from going to another appliance that I saw.
Thank you, Tyler.
Yep.
Maybe I'll turn it over to you.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Aye.
Item number 7. Consider for approval of revised contract with Forward Appraisal LLC for assessment services for assessment years 2022 and 2023 to include additional services that were previously provided by the administrative technician. Steve, is this yours? Come up.
Is that better? Yeah, okay. I've been here about 20 years, and we've always had an assistant to work, a technician in our office. We tried to do a share position between the two office, community development, myself. That seemed to be not working too well, but we tried it out, and what was brought up to me is, and this has been brought up in the past, if I want to bring somebody on myself, so we'd have 2 contracted individuals in that office, instead of 1 employee, basically, and that's, I guess, we're looking at the changes. The contract that the city did was already renewed with me. This would be a change of it, I believe, just adding this other person on. Karen, who was with us, retired, as everybody knows, back probably a year ago or so. And so we've been trying to figure out how to make it work there and how the work schedule is. And I think having the time behind it and what we do in that office, we tried to find out ways to make it work better, and that's what we've been doing. So I think this will work out fine. What we're going to do is hire a person that I already hired on. She's been working with me already, but her office hour times will be here in the office. And she, like I said, she will be the one that'd probably be the contact if I'm not here. So, but nothing else really changes besides that. The city's going to be picking up part of her wage for this in place of what we were paying the previous technician in our office here with, of course, no benefits, but just the salary, so. I think the salary was $24,000 a year that they're gonna pay Forward Appraisal, my company, basically, to have this person here, so.
Right, right. I think we have right now we have a contract with Steve through the assessment year 2023. And as Steve stated, we always had at least one other person. I guess since you've been here, one person. At one point it was full-time and then maybe 32 hours a week. But we've always kind of had that balance between an independent contractor as the assessor and then a city employee there who kind of worked under Steve, and after Karen left, then an administrative technician was hired that would work with Steve on the assessment and then also work with Kyle in community development. And Kyle can speak to this. This just went to HR at the meeting earlier today to change this kind of hybrid position between community development and assessor into a community development position full-time, and then we're going to pay Steve extra money under his contract to then do all of the services, including office coverage, including appraisal, basically everything, which is really probably how it should be, where he's in control of everyone. He's not supervising or involved with our employees at all, and it's kind of a one-stop shop, and he can handle all that. He has an employee that can do that, and we just feel that it's a great value that he's giving us, even with this additional money to be paid to him to basically handle all of the assessment services for the city. And then I think if Kyle maybe wants to address that other position, because there is then obviously the position was shared, and now we're paying Steve a little bit more, and then also Kyle is having a position, so maybe if he wants to address that a little bit.
Yeah, as Sue said, we've elected to change our administrative technician position to full-time in community development. As Steve alluded to early on, it became apparent that there were some challenges, just given the busy times of our office, as well as the requirements for the assessor's office and personal property and things of that nature. And, it would leave voids in our office. So for the last couple of months, we have had our administrative technician solely focus on community development, and it has allowed us to increase our level of service, be more responsive to contractors, phone calls, issue permits within a few days, and really streamline our process in community development, and it's worked very well. And I think we certainly have enough work within community development to keep that position busy throughout the entirety of the year. I would foresee during, again, the building season, we would be busy, and that individual would be issuing permits and assisting with some zoning reviews. And I think in the off-season, in the winter months, they would be, creating other documents, fact sheets, updating websites, more departmental operations, efficiency initiatives within our office, and then possibly assisting and growing their capabilities over time to assist with some planning duties as well, and in possibly structuring agendas and putting together packets and printing those packets and so forth. So I have no doubt that we'll certainly keep that position busy as a full-time representative for community development. And again, that then leaves Steve, however, with a void in terms of the administrative assistance he needs with the assessor's office.
And the other thing I think is Kyle, when he started here, we did start our weekly meeting. So our two departments do work pretty well together, side by side, I think, as far as the permits and us going out there and doing the permits and the information we get from the software that they use, or our software that they use. So it works pretty good hand in hand here, and I think we're just trying to find a good fit, that's all, so. But
Second. Aye.
Thank you.
Item number 8, 2022 budget timeline.
Sure. Main reason I put this on here is, one, just to kind of get the committee's, feelings for how they want to proceed with reviewing departmental budgets, and also to set, the public hearing. As far as the first one, historically, we've had some of the major department heads for the, larger departments come in and present their budgets in the month of October, and I just was wondering if that's kind of what you want to continue to see. Normally, it's like police, fire, public works, wastewater. Some of the smaller departments has kind of been based on requests once you've seen their budgets. If, they look kind of like there's no questions you have for them. We have not, brought in every department head, but certainly if you review a budget and want to talk to that department head at the committee level, we can surely schedule that. So right now, September 1st, the budgets were due. A lot of them are in, some of them are still working on it, but usually in the month of September, it's kind of our internal review where, I get the budget requests in, I start compiling the budget, start doing the revenue estimates, and also in coordination with the mayor will schedule department meetings with the department heads to kind of to start, review their budgets and things like that, so that finance committee meeting in October, hopefully we have basically pretty much a compiled budget for the committee to start their review and the rest of the council. So, I mean, if that's okay, and I'm like, basically in October, obviously we have more than one finance committee meeting, and that's something that we can discuss at that first scheduled meeting for the finance committee in October, or we can set some dates tonight if you wish. In addition, also, I'd like to kind of just schedule the public hearing tonight, or get a recommendation. If you recall, for many years, we had the public hearing coincide with the third council meeting in November. And then there was some discussion a couple years ago about, well, let's have the public hearing before that. So if there's some public input that might impact the budget, it affords us some time to, make some changes if warranted, or, consider those recommendations. So based on that, we have, obviously, November 16th is the November regularly scheduled council meeting. So we could either have it that Tuesday the 9th or the 11th. And one of the reasons why I also want to get it scheduled too is that I have to publish the budget, at least an estimated budget, 15 days prior to the public hearing. So I just kind of would like the committee's thoughts on those two items.
I think the Tuesday, so it would be the second Tuesday of the month. We have our finance meeting as planned the first Tuesday of the month, then the budget meeting the second Tuesday, then common council the third Tuesday. I think that second Tuesday would work good.
The 9th?
Yeah. Maybe the 11th then? Okay, 11th.
11th?
And then my input on what departments I'd like to see, of course, the main ones you named off, and then if there's any, if it's a substantial change in their budget from any of the other departments, if they could come and just, maybe we even set a time limit on it, like 10 or 15 minutes just to explain that. And then one that I would like to have a more extensive meeting on is representatives that work with the aquatic center. I'd like to have a specific meetings about that, and at that time, we can go over the full finances that should be in by now, and what we're looking at for next year. I think with as large of an asset as it is, and it's a revenue-generating asset for us, I think we do need to take a look at that, where it's coming out in the positive or negative on the balance sheet.
Right, and usually we have Parks and Recreation as a night dedicated, or at least a portion of a night dedicated to review that budget, and that would be the perfect time to incorporate the aquatics specifically in with that, because that would be included under that veil. So we'll discuss at that, and obviously, we're getting close to where, we've gotten a lot of the revenue accounts in, but there's still some expenses coming in, but obviously, in October, we should have a pretty good idea where we are, and I can provide a financial statement as part of that discussion and as part of that, that 2022 aquatics budget.
That'd be awesome, and I know a lot of this will be talked about at Parks and Rec, but being that it's budget time, if we could just see what we did last time, which was the revenues, but the final ones, and then expenses, and see where we're at with that, and possibly discuss what we can do next year from a financial standpoint.
So, didn't you bring some of the smaller ones in? Like, you would have 2 or 3 smaller ones in an evening?
Yeah, I mean, we can do that. It's all kind of like, once you kind of get the budget, considering we have like the full month of October and really, the first, week in, 2 weeks actually in November, it's kind of like the smaller budgets, and I'm not saying not that they're, held at any less scrutiny, is that when you kind of get those budgets and you review them, if you have questions, we can definitely schedule those at any point in time. It's just as we get there, and hopefully, my plan is to get you some budget summaries that are a little bit more user-friendly, that kind of point out some of the major changes, so, you'll be able to identify, okay, maybe this budget looks kind of like historically what we've done, there's no major changes, and you can still have those people in here to, explain, update them on their department or whatever. It's really up to the committee and what they want to see and how they want to go reviewing all departmental budgets. So I'm just saying historically we've done this, but, we've done it a number of different ways. And Tom, and you can obviously, attest to this, that, it's, we've gone from very great detail to, just reviewing some of the bigger, it's all about what you guys want to see. You're the ones that ultimately have to make the decision on approving the budget, so.
Yeah, and I'm open to what the committee wants, or anybody else, I guess, here from staff would want, who we have in that, even the smallest departments still count,
Right, absolutely, and I'm not trying to,
Yeah.
And we can just, if you want me to put a preliminary schedule for, if we meet once a week during the month of October and we have kind of schedule some of the departments, and we can maybe combine like one major department, a couple smaller ones, so obviously you don't want to put them all in one night. Some might take more than others. We can do that.
I thought that's how we did it last year, I think, if I remember. And I like the format, but if you're going to get a summary out in advance, and we can look at it if we have questions, and we have the ability to bring them in, I'm okay with that, too. So,
What I'll do is I'll kind of put together a preliminary schedule of, does the committee have an issue with meeting like every Tuesday in the month of October? Because obviously it's, or we can do other nights if that's a conflict.
If we could get the budget summaries first, I think I've been on the finance committee. I think this is my 3rd year out of 4 years. And when I first started, we did have all the smaller departments come in, and I feel like calling them in, they felt like they needed to give a full presentation. And I remember the first year especially, we were almost going through every line item, and we spent a lot of time. I don't know if that's necessary, but once we see the summaries, if we need to call anybody in, certainly. But that's my opinion.
Okay with everybody? Oh, Mayor.
I was just going to say that Tuesday in October, the Tuesday's first floor conference room is available every week. Council chambers is not.
Okay, we'll have to work around with that, or else, I guess, pick a different night or something, so.
Sounds good.
I guess is your preference to have them in the council chambers? Okay, so I'll look and kind of see the availability, and I'll put together a tentative schedule and get it out to the committee, and we can go from there. But one thing I would like tonight is if you guys could make a motion on the date of the public hearing, that would be, so that it could be approved at council, and we can go from there.
is there a date?
I'll make a motion to set the
11th.
budget hearing for November 11th.
Second.
A motion, a second, to set the date for the public hearing for the budget on Thursday, November 11th. If there's no further discussion, committee will vote. All those in favor respond by aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Number 9, audit of the bills.
I don't have any questions. I'll make a motion to approve checks 9626 to 9971.
Second.
Motion is second to approve the bill, audit the bills.
Aye.
Opposed, the ayes have it. Thank you. Number 10. Consider the land use of vacant city-owned building located at 161 and 163 Third Street North. Turn my mic back on. Parcel IDs 34-08156 and 34-08157. In open session, the committee may vote to go into closed session under section 19.85, parent 1, parent E of the Wisconsin statutes, which reads, deliberating or negotiating the purchasing of public properties, the investing of public funds, or conducting other specified public business whenever competitive or bargaining reasons require a closed session. In closed session, the committee may discuss negotiations and strategy regarding the sale of the above property. The committee may adjourn in closed session or may return to open session. In open session, the committee may continue to discuss the land use of a vacant city-owned building. Committee? We have a motion and a second to go into closed session. Committee, we'll have roll call vote. Jake? Jake? Aye. Tom? Aye. All in favor? We're going into closed session then. Finance Properties back in session from our closed session meeting that we had on item 10. With that, I believe we have a, Jake, do you want to make a motion to go in, or not to go into, a motion?
Yeah, regarding the land use of vacant city-owned building located at 161 and 163 Third Street North, I make a motion to direct staff to market property with a local realtor for fair market value, $87,700 for a period of a minimum of 3 months.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, committee will vote. All in favor respond by aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you. And then we're to item 11. Now I entertain a motion to
So
adjourn.
moved.
A motion and second to adjourn. Committee, all those in favor of adjourning, respond by aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Committee, we're adjourned at 6:21.